Welcome to the Mucked Up My Self-Care podcast.
I'm Jill from New York.
And I'm Linda from Tasmania.
We are two moms from opposite sides of the world who are living, demonstrating, and helping moms across the world build their self-care asset bank.
Ready to dive in? Messy, interrupted, imperfect, and most of all mucked up. Let's get going.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, how I needed to hear that intro today. Oh, I love our recording time. It's very fulfilling and very nourishing and all the things. We'll see how long my eldest two take before they're bish bashing each other when they're trying to get to sleep. We'll see.
All ready for those interruptions, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I'm going to go first before
Great.
they grab me.
Sure.
Excuse
Your
me.
highs and lows, Linda.
I'm going to start with a low. Oh, it's just been a day. Like I said, I am so glad to hear that intro right now, to be in your company, to all the things, because just ongoing conflict that doesn't want to dissolve. No matter, it seems, what angle I try, it's just very exhausting. Very exhausting without giving, the full speech. My high, I just caught a huntsman. She was crawling. I just caught a big huntsman in my hallway, just near the light switch. Josh was saying goodnight to me, and it was right near his head.
Oh my God, that's so uncomfortable feeling right now.
It was bigger than my fist. And
oh God.
I caught it in a bowl and put it out the window into the bushes. So
Oh my gosh.
it is a high because it's out of the house now, for now. Although we've already put it out once and it came back in. So we'll see.
It's just so wrong. I'm so glad that you're there and I'm not.
I did have a grasshopper and a praying, like a little mantis thing this afternoon, and a Christmas beetle. So all of the things are coming inside right now. It's so much fun for the kids, especially.
That's really neat. I've never seen a Christmas beetle.
Yeah, it was a big one too. Normally they're a bit smaller, but this one was probably half the size of my finger. So they're very colourful. Yeah. And it's not even Christmas. So.
Okay. So it comes out for the summertime for you. That's
true.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. What about you? As you've pulled one onto your lap.
Perfect timing. Highs and lows for me. Low is going to be oh goodness. Declan, chill out. Come on. Get me settled, okay? Sorry. Oh goodness. Seat's not big enough.
Never are. Yep. Lap gets smaller.
Okay. So highs and lows. My dad had to have a procedure done regarding his mass in his lung. And so we had to take him into Manhattan, which is not a close drive, but it's doable. So that created a lot of anxiety around both my parents and myself for the drive, traffic, the waiting, the drive back home, the traffic, which we didn't realize took a toll out of each of us until Saturday. So then we were all exhausted. My mom's like, I feel like I got hit by a truck. And I'm like, well, I didn't sleep. I was up at 1 a.m. after the fact, like not able to. It was just a hot mess of a day on Saturday. So
maybe I should have put the Mucked Up My Self-Care podcast on in the car.
So
102 episodes.
yeah, I think that just the low is the whole situation on Friday, and then the melty that I wasn't expecting to follow suit, because I was able to bring my work and it was easy peasy for me, not realizing that I was holding on to so much before them as well. So pretty powerful how that just happens that way.
Oh yeah.
And then my high is we've been hanging out with friends, and it's really Declan's been hanging out with a lot of his friends and being left alone with them, like having drop-off play time.
Oh my gosh.
Which has been very exciting. It's been our neighbor and some other, classmates that he's had. And it's just like, this is not bad. I like this.
No.
Take advantage of drop-offs. No. But then I had to remember I'm going to be a drop-off at one point too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's fun in its own, because we're getting to that. Well, we've got lots of different stages and ages and things. So I often find there are times when it's actually easier for me when there are friends over and they do occupy themselves with their own things when they've got friends around. We had a sleepover with one of Josh's friends on Saturday night.
Nice.
And they just all played tag and did their thing and watched a movie and put themselves to bed. And yeah, it was just easy in a way.
Yeah.
Obviously a different age to 4.
Yes. Yeah. But even at 4, which I really liked, is we had our neighbor's daughter come over Saturday night, and I was still trying to work because it was we were doing social media for the weekend. So I was on the couch. I was like, yeah, she can come over as long as you two play and keep each other company and don't bother me. I'm fine with that. Like, I need to sit here. Like, I'll interact with you while I'm on the couch working, but you two play. They did fantastic. We hardly saw them. And like, it was great. We know when they did want a little bit of attention, they did exactly what I asked them to do. Still let me sit there. So 4-year-olds, I'll take it.
Yeah. I'm finding that now that because we do school a little bit differently over here. So we've got 3 days of school for the 4-year-old and a really slow introduction. But I'm noticing his sister is really missing him on those days as well.
Yeah.
Like, she's just a bit lost.
But
a little bit lost.
That was one of the things that was, we're kind of going to make me afraid, though, was, having 2 4-year-olds over at the house can be exhausting. Like, my sister actually watches the 2 of them on Tuesday nights when you and I are in mastermind. So my sister actually actively tries to play with them, and she gets herself exhausted. So I'm anticipating that that's what it's going to be like for me to have them both over. And it wasn't. And Daddy, I don't know if I would really say that it was self-care either. It was just good time to
yeah. And sometimes, like you were saying about the drive and the melty, it can creep up on you. It cannot necessarily happen at the time, or not necessarily happen immediately after or during, but then a couple of days later you feel like you've got a bit of a hangover.
Yes.
And I do find that sometimes, actually, if I've had a really terrible night with the kids or just not slept very well, really restless, I might be okay-ish the next day, but then that's the day after, which I tend to really feel shattered.
So are you telling me, Linda, it's 2 days after I do something that I need to plan my self-care for, not the day after? Actually, or does even doing it at the same time of when we know we are going to have something that we're doing that's going to exhaust us. So Saturday, I rested all day. I did take a nap with Declan in the afternoon. So the nap was my self-care to try and catch up on some things. So, and it did help me. It wasn't one of those naps that made me more tired. It did help in getting me some more energy. But I also went to bed early too then, so I set myself up for less exhaustion while I was already exhausted. But if I had done a little bit more self-care maybe on Friday, where I had the event that I didn't think was going to make me melty, made me melty, does that then benefit me more in that exhaustion that comes with doing something that way?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because I guess that's how we're trying to stop energy leaks. That whole, I should have realized that was going to be a huge energy leak.
Should have.
And having had done some self-care, maybe even Thursday before, which was possible. Like I went to bed early Thursday night, so I knew I'd get the sleep I needed to wake up early to get on the road. But like, what else could I have done on Thursday to be more mindful of how my energy was going to be spent on Friday? So that way Saturday wasn't just completely a wash.
Doesn't that cause a little bit of paralysis, though, in the fact that we then start to need to think so carefully and so much and over-plan, possibly around events that are going on in our life just naturally? Like, because I think that can become also exhausting in itself, that if you're trying to do, we just talked about intentional self-care. And if you're constantly planning your self-care too much, it can lead to a lot of disappointment as well.
Yeah.
Or on the opposite end of the scale, if you're not planning it at all, then it can also not happen.
Definitely.
So I just wonder if part of the exhaustion is not only the self-care, but all of the mind planning, the mind chatter, the anticipation, all of the emotion.
Sure, because we can think really hard about, especially I feel like, what kind of self-care is going to be good for me today or this week. Like, what can I plan in that I'm wanting to do? What's going to give me what I need out of it? And we may not know ahead of time what we're needing self-care wise, or if it's going to even work at all. And I think it's also like that exhaustion comes from the decision fatigue that we'll have with, which are those things. It's like making the decisions to do self-care is exhausting. And that's what I'm hearing from you.
Or even the decision not to do it.
Yeah.
Because what we do instead, we do some of that more addictive / non-fulfilling / like, we pick up our phone to scroll instead. Or we do the things which we know also exhaust us by not doing self-care.
Yeah.
As well. So,
I think, and then almost like being flexible with how we have to shift around our expectations as mothers with what we want for self-care can be disappointing. And then I think that leads us to exhaustion too, because we're using our emotions in a different way than that takes our energy away from us. Because like Thursday night before my trip into the city with my parents, I was scheduled to have a self-care night, but it was snowy that night. So my husband was out working. So I had to give up my self-care night, which worked out because I was able to do all the things I needed to do to get ready for Friday's trip. So,
but
I had a laundry list of things to do, but then I also, like, my self-care was just getting that done, spending time by myself after Declan went to sleep, and then going to bed early myself. So it was kind of still a little bit of aware self-care, like awareness of like going to bed early because I know I got to take care of myself, but not what I like had hoped for. And there comes that disappointment and the shift that you were talking about too. And, not getting what we expected out of something for self-care. So having to shift completely what I was doing for self-care shifted the benefits I got from it as well.
Yeah, at the same time, you know, after my really big afternoon today, I knew that I had to shift, and I actually did it really quite quickly. So I decided there and then that we were having toaster sandwiches for dinner. Like, that was it. I'd been like, right, and that was a decision made really quickly. I then put on some Bluey for the kids for half an hour when I would normally be cooking dinner. I was like, right, that's it. You haven't had any TV or like,
yeah, here's your
all
distraction.
all day. Here's a bit of Bluey. That's okay. So that gave me an extra half an hour, and I lay on the bed and read my book.
That's fantastic.
So, but that wasn't overthought. It was just a really quick, like, right, toaster sandwiches for dinner. Here's Bluey. There's my book, and I'm going to go and do that. And they loved Bluey.
Yes.
So they didn't interrupt me. They didn't do anything further, but I was able to take that time, and dinner time was okay. It went smoothly, and they thought the toasted sandwiches were delicious, and there were empty plates, and everything was okay. Okay, so yeah. And I hadn't planned to read much today because I generally have more time for that on the weekend. I'd only just finished a book last night, so I was like, do I pick up another one and then get really engrossed on a Monday, and possibly lose more time this week? But it's fine. Yeah, it's okay. It's a good one. So
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What about when you're so exhausted that self-care feels like it's not enough or not going to benefit you or just too hard?
Yeah.
Just like, I just want to go to sleep and go to bed. Does that become a form of self-care? Just going to sleep?
Right.
Like,
right. I mean,
I'll try again tomorrow.
It is one of the things that you and I have both talked about being self-care for us is going to bed early and on time and making sure we're getting the hours we need for sleep. And, I think so. Like, rest is the best way to get our bodies back into a place that's you're able to keep going on doing what needs to be done. But as moms, how do we get that rest in? Like, so, like you're saying, if we're so exhausted and we can't even get like activities done of self-care, like rest would be the only thing we're able to do. Are we able to rest as moms, though?
Sometimes you're so exhausted and then you hit the pillow and you're like, oh no. I still get that sometimes, depending on what else is happening in my life. And I mean, circling back to our original question, is self-care exhausting? Like, is it exhausting you? If you needed to answer that in a yes or no, what would you say?
My answer is no.
Okay. Me too. Stamp.
Good.
Good. I think there are other contributing factors in life which are exhausting me, but generally my self-care is not.
I think in the beginning it was exhausting me. Like first postpartum, trying to figure out like what the heck is even self-care. How do I do it while juggling, a 6-pound baby at the same time?
But there are all the thoughts about it, right, though? That's not the actual act of it.
Yeah.
That's all the mind stuff.
Yep. And then being just so tired, like you were saying, like, sleepless nights, up all night for night feedings, the worry that comes with being a new parent, like you're already exhausted. How do you rest to get rid of that exhaustion so you can even think about what self-care is? And I will say at 4 years old for him, I no longer feel the same way I did when he was a newborn. I'm still exhausted. And but I don't think self-care is exhausting me like it did then.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have to agree. Yes.
Lovely.
Over here.
Okay.
Over here, Daddy.
Oh, goodness.
So,
Well, if self-care is exhausting you, that means that we need to help. Getting some simple
Exactly.
self-care ideas for you, because we can do it with more ease and less exhaustion, and we don't have to make all the decisions on what's going to fit. So start with, simple, quick few things. And Linda, you and I have come up with a list that we thought were like the top 10 that you could potentially pick from, that are easy, readily available, free, just can be done with baby or by yourself. So, and I'm sure you've probably even tried them also, but sometimes it's nice to know that, someone else has tried it and it worked for them too. So
or just take some of the decision exhaustion out of it. So you can just pick it up and be like, right, close my eyes, point my finger, and that one.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. We're going to try this one today and that one tomorrow. But shoot us an email. Linda and I would put that in the show notes, our email. And also you can connect with us on social media platforms and all the places. But we can get you that list. So that way we can help you take some of that exhaustion and decision fatigue away.
Exactly. So
until next week.
Yes. Gosh, I just had a massive. My brain just went to sleep. So we'll try that again. We hope you can unstuck your muck.
Bye for now.